I've been helping first-time home buyers for 20 years. And when I talk about how people have actually been able to buy $750,000 homes in expensive areas like New York, they don't really like to listen to me because it's just me telling them a story and they think I'm trying to sell them something. So guess what? I've got the story from the actual buyers. This is a young couple that had $40,000 down. They were getting ready to plan and pay for a wedding, and they wanted to buy a house. Now, you'd think that would be incredibly difficult, but with the right team, they figured out how to get a beautiful Hallmark Channel story ending. It's incredible, and they pulled it off, not just for them, but for their dog Miles, too. Let's hear what they have to say.
How to Buy a Home educates, protects, and connects first-time homebuyers to qualified vetted realtors in their area. Whether you're looking for DIY information or step-by-step guidance, How to Buy a Home is the #1 resource for first-time homebuyers.
What's happening, homies? I'm super stoked today. This is a great one. I get a lot of people that say to me all the time, David, that's great you had those people on the podcast, but, we're in an HCL. That's a thing on Reddit, high cost of living. So I've got an interview with someone. This is Sam and Kristen, who called me. Well, they reached out to me online, and they were asking about Long Island, New York. East Coast, West Coast, whatever it is, if you're close to water, it's expensive. So we're going to talk to them about how they pulled this off. And last time I checked, no, they're not trust fund babies, and they didn't have gigantic tons of money put away. So, hi, guys. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, David.
They actually, before I pressed record, they picked up their laptop and showed me their beautiful home. It's gorgeous. Those of you watching on the video can see their lovely window behind them. Congratulations to you. Excellent, Kristen. That's wonderful. Can you guys give us right off the bat, you just closed like January 24th. Give us your biggest tip to help people out.
Biggest tip, try not to get too ahead of yourselves. We would fantasize and look a little too far into the future. And we were actually previously in contract with a house before this one, and it never made it to closing. So if it's meant to be, it will happen, and just be patient.
Okay. You opened a can of worms for me. Let's dive right in. What happened with the first home? Why aren't you sitting there today?
So essentially what happened was we toured the house. We liked the house. We got the inspections done, everything done. And then it ended up appraising $44,000 low, and they were not negotiable at all.
Not even by a little bit. She was like, nope, take it or leave it. And I had told Sam, ever since maybe a week or two after kind of having our offer accepted, I was like, I have a bad feeling, little things. And then when she wasn't willing to negotiate, even our real estate agent was like, that never happens. Usually you meet in the middle. We were just like, you know what? It's not meant to be. We're not overpaying, especially over $40,000 over. So we walked away, and I said, the day that we walked away, I said, you know what? I think we have something better waiting for us. And our something better is our living room right now that we're sitting in.
Way better.
Yes. Oh, I love that. Confirmation from Sam. Way better.
Yeah. And that house actually ended up selling for more than we paid for this.
Mm-hmm.
We kept an eye on it.
Wow. Oh my God. And you like this one better?
Yes, we love
so
this
much
one.
better.
So much better.
I tell people all the time, it's one seller selling one home one time, and they don't care. A little tip for everybody is, most of the time, yes, they will meet in the middle. Most of the time. We don't know that. Sometimes they'll go all the way down. If a home's been on the market for 4 or 5 months and you're the only offer, sometimes they'll have to accept that third-party neutral evaluation of the value of the home. So let's go back. Were there multiple offers on the home? What was the seller acting from a place of strength, or were they just jerks?
They were just jerks.
You weren't bidding against anybody?
I think there was one other person, but it had been on the market
since February.
And this was in September. It had been on the market for months. And in
Whoa.
Island.
February to September of 24?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, you caught someone who was dreaming, and their listing agent was not managing their expectations well enough. because that wasn't necessarily a time when the market was screaming last September. Everyone was freaked out about the election. The market was pretty much flat. So, and if they'd only had one offer, most homes could have sold, in a matter of weeks if it's priced properly. You know what? They did you a favor, not only because you're in the home you like better now, but they did you a favor being jerks right up front because you could rip off the Band-Aid and just move on.
Yep.
Yeah. And, had they have been willing to negotiate a little bit, I would have done another appraisal just to try and, close that gap a little bit, maybe get a second opinion. But because they weren't willing to negotiate at all, our agent was like, don't even bother. Let's walk away.
That's awesome. Okay, so I said that you guys run a high cost of living area. So for everyone who's like, David always talks about the $400,000 home because that's the average price in the market. I will once again reiterate, you do the math, people. I do 400. If you're in 200, half of what I say. If you're in 800, double of what I say. It's not that hard. Otherwise, the podcast would be 5 times as long if I did every price point. First of all, I got to know this. Why on earth was your final sales price $752,711?
Well, it's something I heard with you, actually, the funny numbers, because someone goes 750, we win. The 7-Eleven, we were throwing in every offer because it was our wedding date. And we actually got outbid on this house, believe it or not. And the sellers liked us, and they chose to go with us. We don't know by how much, but we were the second highest offer.
Okay, let's talk about that because you guys reached out to me.
Yes.
And you said, who do you have in Long Island? And I love all my unicorns, but my gal in Long Island, Ann, is like my spirit animal.
She's amazing.
Yeah, she's incredible.
I wish I could tell you all, just those who are not watching the video, to see their faces. They both just gave me like an amen when I said Ann's name. It was great. So let's talk about that. First of all, thank you very much. And I'm so glad the 752 7-Eleven worked. That is super cute. What was your down payment situation? Do you guys have hundreds of thousands? Were you putting 20% down?
No, we put, I believe it was 11% down.
Okay. So once again, everybody, $750,000 home, they put 11% down. They weren't the highest offer. What was the difference?
It had to have been Ann. And, they saw us twice. We came as soon as it was listed. And then we came back with family during the open house. And they had cameras and everything. They're like, oh, we saw you guys on the cameras. We thought you were so cute. And, we wanted a nice couple to move into this area. Apparently, they talked to a couple people around here because we even had people saying that they saw us too. And they were excited that it was us.
A lot of times people will come to me and say, what's going on in this negotiation? Why aren't they doing that? And I'm like, sorry, it's just about the money for the seller. But there are a lot of times, especially when you're talking about a home that costs that much, that somebody lived in probably for a long time.
Yeah, 30 years.
The emotional aspect of the deal is there. And people, watch what you say in homes. There are cameras in every one. That's my big tip.
The Ring camera in the front, in the back. They can see everything. They can hear everything.
And be nice to the neighbors, because if they've been living there a long time, even though they might get more money from somebody else, who they leave the neighbors with is very important to some sellers.
Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting thing.
Friends.
So yeah, they want their friends to be happy. So you don't know how much more it was. You just know that your unicorn Ann worked the deal and you guys got it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so how did the inspection and appraisal period go for this purchase?
The inspection went great. It was actually better than the previous house. The previous house had some moisture issues in the basement, which worried me. But this one, nothing. He even said it's a solid house. You have little things to do, and that's it. And then when we got the appraisal, it was around the holidays, and we were very, very nervous because it was taking longer than usual, or at least longer than it did the first house. When it appraised at 753, we were so happy. It was like the weight has been lifted.
That was your holiday present right there, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's incredible. Okay, well, let's rewind a little bit. I jumped in because the fact that this was house number 2, I always love to give those tips to people. Number 1, it provides inspiration and motivation for people. But that's an even better story. Not only was it house 2, but you weren't even the highest bid. Okay, let's go all the way back. So you reached out to me in the summer.
Yeah.
And you guys were paying an astronomical rent at like $2,700. You had at the time a decent chunk of money, around that 10% for what you were looking for, saved.
Yeah.
Or did you start a saving process from July until you did the offer? What was the planning process? What did you do on the big 3, on your credit score and your debt and your savings from July until you purchased?
Well, this is something we've been talking about for years, and I had been quietly listening to the podcast for a long time, and I no credit cards, nothing. The only debt we had was my car payment. Kristen had her student loans and car paid off, and we didn't blow everything on the wedding. We made some back. We obviously don't break even on a wedding.
Yeah.
And after the wedding, when I looked at the account, I'm like, you know what? Let's see if it's possible. And I reached out to you because we've been kind of preparing with credit and, no debt and everything for a couple of years at this point. And they thought it was possible, and we didn't think it was possible yet. And now we're here.
I will once again say 6 years of data. 72% of the people that reach out to me and say that they want to buy in the next 12 to 14 months, get under contract in 3.2 months. That's why I started this podcast. There aren't enough voices telling people the things I'm trying to tell people. So everyone does it on their own. Good, conscientious people like you with no debt, probably a, 958 credit score. I know that's not possible. I was exaggerating. I'm assuming that's the kind of people you were. And I'm so glad that you got because I know with Ann, you got the compassion plus great expertise.
Oh,
that's incredible. Did you consciously make the decision? People fight me on this all the time, and I'm not fighting back. I'm saying it's your own choice. Did you consciously make the decision to budget the wedding because you were thinking house?
Kind of, because we had originally thought maybe we'll buy a house first and then have a wedding, because for us, we were like, a house is forever. A wedding is exciting, but we wanted to kind of be smart about what we spent. So we definitely went over what we thought for the wedding, but I think we did keep our spending in mind. Like, we were trying to be mindful, and we didn't spend our entire savings on a wedding. So we still had money left. And then, we were fortunate. We got some gifts. And then when we really put that money down, we're like, let's just see, let's talk to some people, be proactive. And that was the biggest surprise, because when we talked to the mortgage company and they were like, yeah, we think you could buy a house. I called my mom. I'm like, Mom, I think we could buy a house. Like, we were not expecting it. We were just kind of like, dipping our toes in, trying to put our feelers out. And we were like, wait, this is possible. And then from there, it was just super quick. And, it was relatively easier than we thought.
I love that. You're part of my 72%. And when you're with the right people, it can be easy, or I should say it's simple. The easy part depends on if you got the right team helping you work your way through it. That's such a great story, because people have to make those big life decisions, the wedding and the house. How long were you guys renting?
I was renting for 7 years.
I was renting for about 5. Then we moved in together. We were renting
3 years.
It was 3.5 actually, because we went for the longer lease on the apartment because it was actually cheaper. And then
so 3.5 years of $2,700, maybe a little cheaper when you started, but so let's round that up to around $30,000 a year. So there you are, $90,000 in, and you're planning for a wedding.
Yep.
And that's that big picture thinking I'm trying to help people see. Your plan, if you just think house and wedding and don't think, oh my God, $90,000, boy, we could have had a killer wedding, but obviously you're paying more, but you've got it in a forced savings account now. With that process, when you reached out and you heard, well, actually, let me go back. Sam, you said you listened. Kristen, did you not listen to the podcast?
I did. He was sending certain episodes, or we'd be driving to dinner, and he had the podcast going like 24/7. We'd be driving to dinner and he'd start an episode. So Sam was definitely the whole home buying process. He was like the captain, And I followed along, if I'm being honest. But he was listening like religiously. And then I would listen to a couple episodes and I'd be in the car listening. So it definitely gave me, the biggest was just hope, like hearing people's stories and realizing, oh my gosh, it is possible. It seems like such a far-fetched dream. And then you hear people's stories and you're like, you just have to do it. You just have to, put your feelers out there.
Well, that's the exciting thing, is that you're able, because of the people that we've got out there, whether you find your own unicorn or you use a unicorn through us, most of the time, a lot of the people are going to figure out they have an option. And I understood your trepidation because you guys are in an expensive area. You got a great house, but it wasn't $250,000.
No.
But there's a reason I say you can do this at the end of every episode, because of the people who take their time and have just done the right thing for a long time. You've set yourself up. And, we could always look back and oh my gosh, there's a puppy. Sorry, I have to stop talking. There's a puppy. Hello, beautiful puppy. I wish you guys could see this right now.
He's like, it's my house too.
It's his house too. How happy is the puppy? Did you guys get a yard for the dog?
Oh,
absolutely.
Yes.
90% of the reason for him to have a yard.
90% of the reason. Oh, I love it. What are you guys, like young millennials? How old are you guys?
I'm 33.
I'm 30.
Okay. 33 and 30. Okay. So the dog gets everything.
Yeah,
I totally understand.
It's his house.
So it's his house. It's such a neat story to hear. So in July, and then I'm assuming right after that, around August, September, well, in August, you must have found out, oh my gosh, let's go, because then you're putting the offer in September on the other one. That was fast.
Yeah.
We put in a couple offers actually before that house too.
Wow.
The first house it was actually in the same neighborhood as this, which in turn helped us out with our appraisal in the end to bring it full circle, which is funny.
Oh, wait a minute. I know what you mean. Let me explain it for the people. You lost out on a house because someone else spent more money on that house.
Yep.
But when your house came around, you got the 753 appraisal. So you immediately got your house valued higher because the appraisers used that other most recent sale as probably their number one comp.
Yeah.
And it was a direct comp to this house.
Model match?
And
it, like, same layout?
Very similar.
Yeah.
Very similar, yeah.
Same amount of
About
room.
the same square footage, same rooms, all that
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, when they're doing an appraisal, they're going to take either a model match or the same square footage, same beds and baths, in order to justify the value. If there hasn't been a sale in the last 6 months or a year, sometimes it's where the appraisal get kind of sketchy. But for you guys, you automatically walked in and there was no question with the value of the home, and you already knew it because you lost on that other home.
Yep.
Yeah. It was a full circle moment.
That's incredible. Okay, was throughout the process as you were searching for homes, because in July you reached out and in August you were out there looking, what were you guys doing before that? Had you narrowed down the neighborhoods already while Sam was listening to the podcast and Kristen was like, what is this again? Really, dude?
No, actually, we thought there were areas that we wanted to live in. Because, I mean, when you're on Long Island, everything's pretty convenient, fairly local. We just didn't want to go too far out because we both work kind of close to the city. And we ended up in a town that was on our radar. But at that point, when we first started looking, we were just trying to figure out what kind of house we liked. Did we like a split level? Did we like a ranch? You have Levitt houses out here, which I'm not a huge fan of. And, that was a big battle for us in the beginning too. But the more
explain that to people who don't know.
Oh, a Levitt house?
Yeah.
The Levitt houses, they would go up in like a day or two. They all had the same layout, giant neighborhoods.
No basement.
No basement. Yeah. A lot of they all had carports that people turned into tiny garages. And it was, I grew up in one and I did not want to buy one.
You'd be, you wouldn't be shocked, but I hear it all the time. People have a very specific thing they want to buy, and it's either exactly what they grew up in or never what they grew up in. That ends up where they are. So your unicorn Ann's been out there and doing Long Island forever, and she's good at covering. Did you discover areas with her? Did she bring stuff up to you? Were you guys doing it as a partnership?
I feel like she had kind of recommended some houses, and it kind of like broadened our horizons. Like we had some places we were like thinking about, but not dead set on anything. And I think the more, after a month or so of looking, we had kind of narrowed it down to like maybe 3 or 4 towns. And then she'd say, hey, what about this town or this? So it was a fun learning process because you could talk about it, but until you're really driving around a neighborhood, like we had sent each other pictures for the last 2 years on Zillow and Trulia. But I think actually being in these houses and driving around that first month helped us really narrow it down.
That's great. I always tell people, I think Zillow is a miracle and it's a wonderful thing, but you still need to get in your car and drive.
Yeah.
Daytime, nighttime, the whole thing. So the smiles on your face are telling me you guys are really happy here, and that's amazing. Was the new payment something that you were ready for? I'm assuming are you 1,000, 1,500, 1,800 over what you were paying in rent?
It's a little less than double.
Little less than double.
Yeah. But ultimately, the budget that we set for ourselves, we only went over what we wanted to spend by about $250 a month. So we were okay with it.
And you had set that. Now, did you set that up ahead of time because you're a dedicated listener of the podcast and you realize that a home is a forced savings account and you realize that you can reduce your savings contributions because those savings contributions are mostly for the home. Once you're in the home, then you let the home do the work for you? Or did Ann and the lender tell you that?
It was mostly the podcast and then little things where like I over budget for utilities because we have oil. So some months, it could be $500 for a delivery. Some months it could be $700 for a delivery, depending on the price of oil. And then in the summer, we're saving all of that. So, there's other factors that you got to look into as well when it comes to that.
It is something that is really important because, people ask me all the time and I'm like, okay, I get it, but you kind of need to take the difference. The usual spreadsheet you have for an apartment is completely different for a home.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like my house, summer to winter, I mean, the first day I can open up a window and get cool air in, I'm like, I just saved $1,000 this month. It's incredible. Were you practicing the payment ahead of time or were you just saving a big chunk and kind of, knowing that was going to be what you were going to pay next time once you got the mortgage?
Saving.
It was kind of a mix of both because at the end, our lease actually expired on the apartment and we weren't going to renew it because if you renew it in the contract, it says that you're liable for the full 12 months or the full length of the time on your contract. So luckily, Kristen's family is amazing and we moved in there for about a month and a half, 2 months and kind of just tried it out then. It was kind of easy to see. There was less going in and less coming out essentially. So it was easy to see what we could really do with the budget.
That's great because you're not paying all those other bills and stuff. So you're like, okay, we don't have the rent payment out. Let's take that new PITI and see if we could save that the whole time.
Yeah. Yep.
A lot of people ask me about taxes all the time. And what I tell them is my show should be called How to Plan to Buy a Home. And the plan should be find an area expert who can tell you. But New York is an area that people go nuts about. What was the tax situation for you guys? Do you have it what we call impounded? Do you pay it as part of your monthly payment? So you pay your mortgage, your interest, and then you also pay your taxes and your insurance? Or are you guys paying your taxes separate? How are the taxes working in New York for you?
We're actually in the process of figuring that out because we haven't even made our first mortgage payment yet. So
I love it.
Close at the end of the month.
Yeah. To my understanding, which I could be wrong because I have to call back about this, was that everything was supposed to be included in escrow. Kind of go in as one payment.
Yes. So that's what we call impounded. I actually just saw someone, I've been talking about the whole kind of 5, 6, 7 week reprieve you get when you own a home because your first payment isn't until the end of, not the first month, but the second one. And I saw some other realtor on social media who did a fancy green screen and she was standing on a calendar And I'm like, I've been saying that for years. She's jumping from month to month. So here we are. You guys have been in the place, 3.5 weeks, and you don't make a payment for another 2.5 weeks.
Yep.
That's awesome. That's fantastic.
It worked out.
How has the move-in been going in? Did you guys come fully furnished? Are you broke and out of money and just like sleeping on a futon?
Luckily, everything from our apartment fit. Like this sectional we're sitting on right now, we haven't bought any new furniture, and we're going to have to, but we don't need to right now.
And the homeowners left us a couple things. So right now we're like, all right, we're moved in. We're not spending too much money. We're like, let's just get settled, keep what we have, trying to be smart about our savings.
Wait, the homeowner left you some stuff?
Too much.
Too much.
Yes.
Yeah. Sometimes they're like, oh, this will be great. And it's like, no. Hey, I don't want to throw away your junk.
We're throwing away a lot of junk.
Yeah. Some of it was, we were like, oh, it looked good. And then, it looked good on FaceTime. And then now we move in and it's like actually broken. So we're like,
oh, there's that.
But, there's some things like the dining room table they left, a TV they left, snowboard.
Wow.
So there's some things, even the
snowboard didn't work. But it was snowing. I tried to get it going. Didn't happen.
Didn't happen. Yeah. So what's the plan now for you guys? A lot of people around the country listening are like, oh my God, $752,711 house. That's expensive. Are you planning on this one being the long term? Is there enough space that you feel like you can stay here? Or are you thinking, hey, this might work till we're old and gray?
Well, it's funny because Kristen actually said it. We ended up falling in love with ranches, and it has a basement, but we're not up and down stairs all day. So we can get old and gray here.
Yeah.
It'll be perfectly fine for us. We don't have to go up and down stairs all the time.
We're staying for the long haul. We're like, nope, this is our forever house. There's enough room. We have plans, obviously not for right now because we have to save, but we're in it for the long haul.
You don't want to go wedding house baby like all in like 18 months? What's up?
We can. Well, I love the house. I'm like, I want to enjoy the house for a little bit.
Yeah, between
money.
The wedding, the honeymoon, and then the house. And we were on the honeymoon when we went in contract for the first house.
Yeah, in Japan.
I think I remember that. I remember that. Wow. You know what else I remember? Okay, here's a little tip. Sam, did you have to do something with the car at the end? Did you have to pay off a car to get a higher approval or what? Tell me the story.
So what happened was my car was coming off lease and I was going to buy it out. And it was due in the beginning of February.
This year?
Yeah. So we actually closed just before that it became a possible issue, which I don't think it would have. Our lender was like, we're aware of it. It shouldn't be a big issue, if any. And because I didn't want to, like everyone says, when you're buying a house or in the process, don't go get a new car. Don't apply for another credit card. But all the bank sees is a new account for a car loan. So they're not, it would show up, even though it's an old car to me, it would show up as a new account. And I didn't want that. So I was honest with them from the beginning.
That's great. Yeah. Super important tip. If you've never heard me talk about this on the podcast before, do not go get even the furniture store credit card, just because you pass your contingencies or your conditions until after the home closes. And definitely don't go get a new car loan. Definitely don't open any other loans at all. But that's interesting. So with the lease buyout, so if the home had been pushed back, your lender would have had a triple check to make sure that it was okay, but you guys closed early enough.
Yeah, just in time. So we closed on a Friday, and I ended up taking the Monday off from work, and I bought out the car and met the movers. Oh no, the movers came already.
They came on Saturday. Yeah, we closed Fridays, and on a Friday, we closed on Friday, the movers came Saturday.
Yeah, and then
we were like, we're in.
Monday, I took care of the car. So it all happened at once.
Okay. Did Ann give you the okay on that? Because I've got my podcast that says, closing dates are fluid and gave you the okay that it for sure you were going to close on Friday? There were no snags and everything worked out?
I might have mentioned it a little after I scheduled the movers to her. But we also had found out that the sellers, they couldn't get movers until the 23rd because our closing actually got pushed back from the 15th was the original proposed date. But I guess because of the holidays, everything got backed up.
Yeah.
So if they got movers coming on the 23rd, I'm like, perfect. I will have them there the 25th after we close.
Yeah.
Okay. So then let's wrap with a nice warm feeling. Are you guys, is it still snowy there?
It all melted. We
Yeah.
got a bunch of rain yesterday or 2 days ago.
Yeah, for now.
Have
Now
you been
I'm-
enjoying the last couple weeks just in a nice, cozy home when it's cold and gross outside?
Oh, of
Yeah.
course. We'd light a candle and we have a street light like a little bit across the street and this big window. You look out and you just see
looking
the
out.
snow coming down. It was,
Oh my gosh, in the light.
yeah.
We feel like little kids. We're like sitting on the couch looking out the window like, wow, this is our neighborhood. Like, it's just, we love the house. We love the neighborhood. It's the snow. It's a perfect timing because it's just so cozy being here and just enjoy it. Where else are we going to go? We can get cooped up and enjoy the house now.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody, remember that beautiful, heartwarming Hallmark story that happened because Sam started listening to the podcast like a year ago or whenever it was. And then they reached out to me in the summer. And then don't forget, they didn't get their first house.
Yeah.
The seller was a jerk. They didn't get another one after that. And then they had to stress if they were outbid. And then they had to stress on this appraisal. So having the right team to help you get through all that process will eventually get you the snow in the glow of the street light. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys so much. Your story was wonderful. I appreciate you guys sharing everything. And what's the dog's name? I need to know.
Miles.
Miles. All right. Well, Miles, congratulations on your new house. Let me know how your renters end up treating it. Thank you, guys. Homies, if you're finding lots of great tools, tips, tricks, and techniques, there are so many interviews. Just go to the podcast, scroll all the way down, and look for all the interviews. We got like 75 of them up there now. You can always go to howtobuyahome.com and just ask David yourself, or you can ask me directly for a unicorn and we can get things started for you. Don't forget to check out the YouTube channel. And as always, people, keep your head up, keep your budget going, and remember, you can do this.
Looking for more DIY education or your own personal step-by-step guidance through the home buying journey? Since 2019, How to Buy a Home has been the #1 resource for first-time home buyers. So visit howtobuyahome.com to get started.